Hey, y'all, cooking, cutting up, keeping it real. Listen, we're going to try to yell because that freezer is so loud in our church kitchen, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I'm going to switch this around, and Phyllis Jones is going to show us how she does fried apple pies. And let me just tell you a little bit about Phyllis. I'm going to embarrass her a little bit probably, but Phyllis owned multiple restaurants here in Guilford County. Do what? Yes, has on. She's not actively doing that now, but she's kind of our pioneer lady. I'm just saying. So anytime I've ever wanted a recipe, I either call her or her aunt. Is Gladys your aunt?
Yes.
Her aunt, Gladys, who owns, anyway. Y'all have met Gladys before. You'll probably meet her again. So I'm going to turn this to Phyllis. Phyllis, just keep in mind that freezer's hard to, it's going to be hard to hear. All right, hold on, y'all. All right, Mrs. Phyllis, tell us what you're doing.
Well, I am making crust for the fried apple pies, but I have, quadrupled the recipe. I'm using 5 pounds of flour to start with, and then my other ingredients, which is, and I got this recipe off of the internet from the Pioneer Woman's site, and she said it was specifically for fried apple pies. So I would use, like, normally 3 cups of plain flour, a 4 teaspoons of salt, 3 tablespoons of sugar, a 1/2 cup of shortening like Crisco or whatever, and 1 egg beaten, and a cup of buttermilk. Now, once you get this mixed all together, you know how you cut the shortening into the flour and then beat the egg, and I usually mix the milk with it and then dump it in, and after it's all mixed, it'll be a soft dough. So I put it in the refrigerator. I like to refrigerate it overnight, but you have to at least an hour before you try to work with it and roll it out. Tomorrow in the morning, we're hoping to make at least 200 fried apple pies that will be for sale when people come to pick up their smoked pork butts. So that's what I'm doing right now, and if Lisa wants to go over and she can show you the apples.
Everybody's digging this. They're digging it. Can y'all hear her okay? Somebody tell me real quick if you can hear her, because this is really important information if you love to cook, because this is old-time recipes here. Howard, can you hear me and Phyllis? Somebody tell me. Hold on just a minute. Sue, can you hear us okay? Okay, they said they can hear us. Okay. All right, Miss Phyllis.
Well, if you'll zero in on this, and you can see all these apples. My group at church, we got together, peeled and sliced 3 bushels of apples. We used Gala. They got them out at the area farmers market, and then Smart Me volunteered to take them home and dry them all. I started drying apples and I had 3 dehydrators, sometimes 4, and I started drying them on a Tuesday afternoon, and I finished on a late Friday afternoon. So I will never do 3 bushels at one time again, because there were apples everywhere.
God's gonna bless you though, because you did it for the church.
I think that a bushel at one time would be a plenty to do. But I have recently bought myself a second dehydrator, so I don't have to borrow so many next time. But anyway, this is the apples. They still have a lot of cooking down to do. They're still too liquidy, and I'm going to add some more cinnamon. I can tell by looking at them I didn't put enough cinnamon in it. And I do not really have a recipe for this.
Walk me through what you do.
I just, once the apples are dried, they will keep for 2 years. But anyway,
in a sealed something,
in
right?
a sealed,
okay.
Yeah, that, or you can freeze them, or you can put them in the refrigerator, whatever, just on the pantry shelf. And but anyway, I just put sugar and cinnamon to taste, and a little bit of salt, and not much though. But they're just going to cook down, and
but now,
then.
Did you put water over them?
Yes, you have to put water over them to bring them back to life, as I say.
Uh-huh.
And And then, but I have this pot going and some in that pot also.
Okay.
And so I might even have to cook more. This is about 7.5 pounds of dried apples, which probably equals about 2 bushels.
Okay.
And so it really, once you dehydrate them, dry them, it's a miracle at how few you have, you know, from all the fresh ones that you started with. But
Well,
anyway,
you know, Phyllis, I'm just going to have a conversation because there's a lot of people watching and they're loving it. Andy's grandmother made them.
yeah.
Okay. And so Aunt Liv, who passed away, told me how to rehydrate the apples and how to do it. Anyway, my point is, back in the old days, they had to do this to preserve the apples, right?
True. That's true.
Once the apples came in,
Drying is the oldest form of that's ever been of how they kept food. You know, it wasn't only apples, but they would dry other things too. And of course, you can dry peaches, grapes. I mean, there's just
apricots. I've seen
in the
people do
little
that.
booklet that came with that new dehydrator I bought. It just lists lots of things, you know, that you get. And of course, men like dehydrators to do jerky for their
Yes.
hunting trips and stuff.
Yes.
So, but anyway,
But people drove. I heard stories. I never met Andy's grandmother. You knew her, but people say that they drove for miles to buy these fried apple pies at the fall festival.
oh yeah.
So that's why Phyllis and Gladys both, we're all in the same circle, and that's why when we decided to do this fundraiser, Phyllis suggested that we do fried apple pies because Mount Pleasant years ago was known for their fried apple pies. So if y'all are local, tomorrow you can buy these fried apple pies. What time, Phyllis?
3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock. We're going to have 200. If y'all been following along, you know I'm going to be at the ball game, so I'm not going to be here tomorrow, which is why I wanted her to walk y'all through this. And I appreciate her doing that. And I know y'all have enjoyed it. So it's at Mount Pleasant United Methodist Church. And I don't know our address right this second.
We're in the corner of Mount Hope Church Road and Burlington Road, US 7.
We're on the corner of Highway 70 and Mount Hope Church Road. And you can come in and see Phyllis and tell her you saw her on the vlog, and I appreciate her doing this. So I'm gonna be out for a few minutes, and